That's okay. Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I am so thrilled to have this guest here with me today. I mean, she's been on the show a couple of times, and I tell you that it's just a pleasure having her back right now. And as you see, my YouTube is going off, and I'm messing that up, but we're gonna, but we know it works. We know it works. You know, Michelle and I are just getting back to California. We was in Vegas the last 4 days, having such a wonderful time because her company, she went to meet a lot of new folks in the company, and we just had a wonderful, wonderful time. So uh, just be back in California, sunny California, love the California, and to be with this absolutely fantastic guest today. I'm just thrilled and tickled pink. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you got to do is go to the comments, ask this great guest that Michelle is getting ready to introduce to you any question that you like. I promise you, she got an answer for you. How you doing, Dr. Michelle Cooler? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, James. How are you? I am so glad to be back in California. It's been a while for me.
Yeah, I can't seem to get Michelle to come here that much. Yeah,
We have Bella to consider. It's our black lab, Bella, and she's 14. And, I just want to spend time with her. I don't want to keep putting her in the Pets Hotel.
No, but what we do is sometime we will spend the summer here or the winter, and we'll bring Bella with us and just have such a wonderful time because we love being in California, but I kind of like Texas a little better, just a little better at times. At times, So, hey, Michelle, this absolutely wonderful guest. So, first of all, can you tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce this magnificent guest?
Oh, most definitely. So the title of today's show is called It's Not Self-Care. And the purpose of the show is to have a sit-down discussion with chiropractor and business owner, Dr. Tina Gottlieb, and talk about why it's not self-care, it's your health responsibilities, and learn about SoftWave tissue regeneration technology. Very interested to learn about that. And Dr. Tina is going to talk about how she provides patients the tools for best success in all aspects, not just chiropractic. So Dr. Tina Gottlieb, she helps amazing and wonderful people get well and stay well so they can focus on what they love and make their impact on the world. For 26 years, her passion and focus of her work has been providing specific upper cervical chiropractic care so that her patients can lead successful and vibrant lives. Dr. Tina is a graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, a 20-year member of the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce, a 20-year member of the Rotary Club of Temecula, a business owner, and a wife. So we are welcoming back to the show, It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley, Dr. Tina Gottlieb.
Welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, just having you on the previous shows and just being around chatting with you, especially Rotary meetings and etc. Can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about you, where you grew up, and where did you get your focus that this is what I want to do as far as being a chiropractor?
Yeah, so I'm a Southern California girl. I was born in Southern California and raised predominantly in Riverside, California, and just grew up playing sports and going to the beach and spending time with my family. I decided I wanted to become a chiropractor at 18 years old. I had just ridiculous pain in my back and my neck, and nobody could help me. And I saw a chiropractor, and it was life-changing. And it was so life-changing that at that moment I said to my parents, this is what I want to do with my life.
And so you've been doing this, and was any particular event, you mentioned pain, that you right then and there, from the inspiration that you got, that I could be a benefit and help others?
Yeah, I learned that a couple of times in my life. So the very first time I learned that was literally like maybe my second chiropractic visit. It was on a weekend. It was just myself and the chiropractor in the office, and she was a new graduate and she was adjusting me, and I got relief for the first time in my life. And I asked her how it worked, and she explained it to me. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can help other people do that. A lot of fun. To spend my life helping people get relief like she had helped me. And so it was eye-opening. And then fortunately for me, once I went off to chiropractic college, I fell absolutely in love with it even more. That's where I found upper cervical chiropractic, and it changed my life forever. And so that has been my purpose ever since, is to give my patients what I was given by such a great field.
Wow. So you mentioned your parents. What lessons did you learn from your parents that you live by today, and that makes you the person that you are today?
Well, a lot, I would imagine, quite a few. The one that comes to mind that I was just telling my daughter, I have a 16-year-old, and I was just telling her recently, is that I was raised to know that I was capable of doing anything that I wanted. My father in particular was very much, well, no, you'll take your car to the mechanic, or no, you'll handle this. I'll tell you how and I'll guide you, but you can do it. And so he raised my sister and I to be independent, strong women. And I'm super grateful for that. And that has certainly benefited me at every aspect in my life moving forward. So that was the number one thing I would have to say. And a very close second is I was raised that just to love all people, that all people are wonderful and worthy and great. And I really like that was part of how I was raised.
So I'm going to throw you off already.
Go for it.
What would be the best adjective to describe Dr. Tina, and why?
I would say I'm fairly consistent in both the good and the bad. We all have things that we would like to improve upon ourselves, but I think I'm pretty consistent. I would go with that adjective.
Consistency is the best thing, because then we are always moving forward. We're consistent with the things that we can do. We're consistent with the goals that we set for each other. Consistency is one that I would choose myself. So what are the challenges and the rewards of being a chiropractor?
Wow, there's a lot of rewards. So I get to spend my day with the most amazing and wonderful people. Like every morning, I'm excited to go into that office because these fantastic people come in. One of the greatest rewards I have is the moments in which we get to celebrate with our patients, when we're cheering on not just that they feel a little bit better, but that they feel so fantastic that they're out there doing grand, wonderful things. And so we're literally having patients cheering down the halls, and we're clapping for them and cheering right along with them. And I love that. To me, that's the impact that we get to make and the ripple effect it has on them and their companies and their families, and the way they affect the world is the greatest reward that I would say I have.
Wow. Just tell us some of the things that Dr. Tina like to do besides the chiropractic. Well, how do you need time? You can just and continue to bring great service to your patients.
Well, I have to preface that with me time. I get very filled from what I do for a living. I get great joy in that. So to me, I don't feel like I need to decompress from work or that I need to step away from it very often. But for me time, my favorite thing to do is to be with my family, with my husband and daughter, and then my extended family. And our absolute favorite thing to do together would be bike riding. We like to go down in particular to Coronado with our bikes. We go for long bike rides, have a picnic, maybe a walk on the beach. And that, I would say, recharges me and fills me more than just about anything that there is. And when we're not doing that, we do things like going for walks every day, going to the beach, and hanging out with our family.
Wow, that's amazing. Dr. Tina, you can hear me, correct?
Dan.
Okay. So you know what? This title of the show is called It's Not Self-Care. Can you kind of describe why you wanted to title the show that way and what this really means to the audience?
Yeah, so self-care is wonderful. And I think everybody has a little bit of a different definition of self-care. But I've been in practice a long time, and I've noticed that people tend to lump self-care into things that they mean well to do for themselves. Things like taking time to spend time with your friends, or maybe have a massage to relax. And self-care then is very easy to push to the back, ignore it, and let it get pushed aside by things that are deemed more important. And there are some things I think that people call self-care that really are much more in line with your health responsibilities, things that you owe yourself so that you can be the best version of you, that you owe your current self as well as your future self. And so your health responsibilities are much more along the lines of getting good quality sleep, eating healthy, exercising, and scheduling your preventative health care, not just your chiropractic, but your eye exams and going to the dentist and all of those things. Those are the responsibilities that you owe yourself. And I think if you differentiate them from responsibilities and not just self-care, it's much more likely that you'll follow through with them.
Wow. Hey, we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and we're going to continue this great discussion with Dr. Tina Gottlieb. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask this great guest any question you want, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break. I'm James Cooley. I am the founder and CEO of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, Options, Opportunities, Lasting Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build a foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I got my fantastic guest here, Dr. Tina, is what I call her, and she is doing an absolutely magnificent job. I've been working with her patients and clients, and in the communities as well. I mean, Rotary, and she gets out and she walk, run, and just staying healthy, because I believe that all of these things create a balance in one's life where we're able to think clearly, we're able to feel good, and we're able to mentally help others. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you do is go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching from. Ask this great guest any questions that you like, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. So Dr. Tina, you take time to give. I done heard so many great things about your patients. With your patients, you take the time to kind of like analyze each patient with the care that they need, and also give them help on other things that might be able to help them out in their life. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I think a lot of that comes with having been in practice for over 2 decades, is that you realize that health is not just one thing. It's the compound effect of all the things and how they add up together. And so I could easily just walk into a room, do my job, and walk out. But I think I would be remiss in that. And so I want to give my patients tools to need me as little as possible. And I think that's my ultimate goal. So we'll talk about things like how well they're sleeping, how often they exercise, what do you do for exercise, and does your body like it? How are you eating? And we really try to make sure that we're watching those things, even things down to how are the ergonomics in your office, whether it's your home office or at the company, so that you're taking care of yourself in all the ways possible.
So Michelle started this right before the break, and you titled the show, It's
not self-care.
It's not self-care. Can you kind of go into a little bit more detail with our viewers and listeners to get them understanding that it's more than one thing that you need to do in order to take care of yourself, in order to be the best you as possible?
Health is not something that just happens to you. A lot of people think it's just you sit and you wait, and if you feel fine, everything's great. But really, health is something that you should be investing in, and you should be investing in every day, both with your time, with your talent, with your treasure, with everything. And so I'm really big on making sure that it's not something that you're going to put on the back burner. So if you have really big, great, audacious goals that you want to hit in business, you need to first and foremost take care of yourself physically, so that you can be your best and achieve those goals. So health is something that you don't want to shift to the side. It's something that should always be what you lead with. And I think is saying it's not self-care is a way of saying that self-care is great, but self-care can easily be pushed aside. When it's your health responsibility, something you owe yourself now and your future self, you tend to not put it aside as easily.
Why do you think a lot of people, I mean, case in point, they start having neck problems, they start having back problems, they start their hips and all that, but they don't take the time to go and see a professional like you to get some advice or to put their frame and body alignment back in place? Why do you think so many people are reluctant to do that?
I think it all boils down to what we value at our core. And that's not saying it's a negative thing, but when you take a value assessment or when you really sit and write down what's most important to you, health doesn't necessarily as a topic come on everyone's top 5 list. So it's very easy to put your family and your business and other things ahead of that. But if you realize that your function of your body, the way your body is, your true health and well-being affects every single thing you value most in this world, it starts to get your attention a little better. And unfortunately, most people don't realize how it impacts them until they start to lose it, until they have that first bout of back pain that they can't stand up straight, or they have migraine headaches that are preventing them from achieving their goals or from running their company. Then all of a sudden it becomes this 5-alarm fire where your body's like, okay, we're done. You can either pay attention to me or we're not going to do anything. So that is how the majority of people enter my office, is at that 5-alarm fire. But then a lot of them very quickly realize that once you put out the fire, that it's so much easier to maintain your health and well-being than it is to ever try to get it back.
So Dr. Tina, can you explain to our viewers the epigenetics and the expressions of your genes by choices you make in the environment that you put yourself in?
So I like talking about epigenetics. So many years ago, we all kind of get hung up on genetics and we think, well, I just inherited this from my parents, or I'm going to have diabetes because that's what everybody in my family has, or this is just the way it is because the genetics I have. Epigenetics basically explains, though, that genes have the ability to turn on and off. So whether or not you're going to express any given genes, good or bad, has a lot to do with what affects you. That can be the environment you're in, whether or not you live in a home with cigarette smoke, whether or not you exercise, the food you eat, the sleep you get, and the other types of preventative healthcare that you do, all have the power. So therefore, you have control over how you express genetically.
So what should people, how should they go about, trying to figure out what's best for them? And you mentioned environment. What are some of the things or environments or foods that we might want to think about and eat it at a moderate base level, opposed to just stuffing ourselves?
So when it comes to food, I think we all underestimate how bad sugar is for us. And so sugar is wonderfully delicious, but it is a little bit like a drug in how it affects our brains. And I think we as a society would all do far better to substantially reduce sugar. And I think the best way of going about it as a whole is we give our patients what we call assessments. And you can simply sit down with a piece of paper and you're going to give yourself a grade and you're going to ask yourself, well and truthfully, nobody needs to know the answers. Do I get regular sleep 7 nights a week? Do I eat healthy 90 to 95% of the time? Do I exercise 5 days a week? All of these questions you can ask yourself and you can give yourself a grade. And if you do that, it's very easy to see that you may knock 6 categories out of the park. And then you may get to the one that says, do I exercise every day? And realize that, no, I put my work before it. I cancel it for my kids. I cancel it because I got to take care of this nonprofit that I'm involved in. And then now you know where your target is. Now you know that there's that one thing that if you just made a change to that one area, you could drastically improve your life. And it's always to start with the one simple thing that makes the biggest change.
So what are some of the health responsibilities that we all need to do? I'm talking about individually or together to make sure that we are meeting these requirements.
Well, I think everybody should schedule their preventative health care. That's something I'm big on because, schedules very quickly. We have patients that will call all the time. I was just here. And like, no, you were here 4 months ago. That wasn't last week like you thought it was. So I think scheduling everything from just how you schedule your dentist twice a year in advance, you schedule with the dermatologist, you schedule with the eye doctor, you schedule your chiropractor. And if you schedule them all in advance, now you've put it in a place in your calendar. Now you've given it that level of respect where it's going to happen and make it a priority. And that's a really, really good place to start, is to schedule it.
So and I'm guilty of this myself. And a chiropractor called me, what the office called me a couple of times. When you're on a schedule going through treatments, and all of a sudden you decide, well, I don't need to go this week. And then the next week, oh, I don't need to go this week. And the next week, you can barely get out. You can barely walk. Tell our viewers out there why it's so important when you've been placed on a plan, a treatment plan, that you follow that plan so you don't have to start over again. And it can cost you a lot more money.
Yeah. It is an investment. So it's an investment of your time and your money. But when you follow those plans, you tend to get, number one, the best results. We don't just kind of make up plans willy-nilly. We learn them over time of how we get great results with people. But the point is not to always feel like you need to be adjusted or to feel like there's something wrong with your body. I want my patients coming into my practice telling me, I feel fantastic. I've been great. I'm here because it was on the schedule. Because if we follow that, then we can get you to a place where you're doing even better, where you have more energy, you're functioning at a higher level, and you feel it. And our patients who follow that will tell us, they'll say, not only is my migraine headaches gone, but I sleep better, I have more energy, I've been hitting bigger goals at work, I've been making more money, because now your body's functioning at a level that you didn't even know you were capable of. So if you stick with it, you're going to get far better results than you'd ever hoped for.
Why is it important from a family perspective? You might have members or your family that works out and do most of the right things, but then you have others that want to do that, but just don't have the energy into my mindset to do that. How would we encourage our family members to also participate in a lot of this thing that's going to make their life better?
You said it. It's mindset. Everything is mindset. It's about deciding. But I one of the conversations I have a lot is people think, well, I don't have an extra hour a day, Tina. I'm like, well, then don't do an extra hour a day. Do you have 10 minutes? Could you get up 10 minutes earlier and go for a walk for 10 minutes? Because if you walked every day for 10 minutes, that's 60 minutes at the end of 6 days that you didn't do beforehand. So really it is the mindset of deciding that you're going to do it and that every little bit matters, even on those super busy days. And I do that. I mean, I say I walk 7 days a week. There are some days that it's 15, 20 minutes because that's what fit in my schedule before it was time to go to work. And the mindset aspect of it is just that. And this is one I was guilty of. I was always said I was not a morning person until everything made me realize that the only way exercise would fit in every single day was if I did it first thing in the morning. So I had to retrain my brain to say, no, you are a morning person. You now get up 45 minutes earlier than before. You exercise, and then you go do what you do for everyone else in the world. So it's mindset, and then don't be afraid to start really small.
All right, it's mindset, and it's all about what I call, and I speak on this all the time, the MDC theory. MDC stands for motivation, dedication, creation.
Yes.
First of all, I believe that we're talking mindset and we're talking focus. You got a goal in mind. You know, say, I want to lose 10, 15 pounds. You know, and I want to do this in 6 weeks or something like that. So the goal is motivation that's what you want to do. And you know what type of time frame you gave yourself. The dedication meaning that you already know, in order for me to do this, I got to do this at least 1-2 hours a day or something. That's what is hard with most people, because so I'm going to do this Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or something like that. Most of us, we set that, but then we're not dedicated to doing that. That's just like you mentioned in the mornings. The best thing to do is in the mornings. When you miss that morning, it's easy to say that I'm not going to do it at all today. I just pick it back up tomorrow. You know, so motivation is just what we want to do. Dedication is being locked in from a mindset perspective, even when you don't want to do it. You lock your mind in and say, I got to do it. And MDC, creation.
That's right.
Creation meaning that if you set your goals, your mindset, if you stay dedicated and you do what you're supposed to do, creation 6 weeks from now, that's what time frame you gave yourself. You done met your goal. You feel good about it. You're able to look in the mirror and not close your eyes because you see that reflection coming back toward you. And that's what I believe that many of us have to be able to develop those type of mindsets in order for us to be the best that we can be. I tell you, we're going to take a station break, but I'm sitting back just enjoying the conversation with Dr. Tina Gottlieb. You want to be part of this? All you have to do is just go to the comments, whatever platform you're watching it on. Ask her any question that you like, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's Your Life from Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And of course, I said again, I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We got a fantastic guest here just educating us. All we have to do is listen and do what you tell us to do. And keep your appointments and create a positive mindset that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Anything. And that's how we go about maintaining happiness, maintaining a solid work ethic, just maintaining the right frame of mind, just doing things that we promise ourselves. Remember, the responsibility is yours. We promise ourselves that we're going to do these type of things. You got to keep your word, especially to yourself. You should keep it with everybody. Dr. Tina, can you tell our viewers and listeners how important is it to make one small change at a time, opposed to just going out there, just changing everything that you're doing around the window?
Well, you want to set yourself up for success, right? So it's just a lot less overwhelming, but success breeds success. So if you keep yourself from getting overwhelmed by all the things you think you should be doing for yourself, if you just pick one and think what's going to have a big impact on me and just start to do it over and over again, that makes you feel successful. And then in another month, you're capable of adding a second thing to it now that you have a new habit built around the first. So when you do one thing at a time, you tend to create habits and you change your mindset and you own it. And then it's easy to grow and to add to it. So never try to do too many things at once. And I like the saying, the compound effect. If you've never read Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, I think it explains it beautifully, but it's the simple rolling ball of adding one thing at a time.
And so, yeah, you're right about that. If we try to just change everything that we do, first of all, we're not being true to ourselves because it takes time to adjust to change. And many of us do not want to change nothing.
Right.
And that we are doing. But if you don't change something, you're gonna do the same thing. If it's bad, you're gonna do the same bad thing every day. If it's a good thing, you might not want to change a whole lot. But you also, just like you mentioned, you want to make yourself better in every area that you can. And, so one change at a time, one thing at a time, so that's what it's going to require. I want to talk about the new technology in your office. Michelle was raving about these things. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners what's some of the changes that you have, new technology, regeneration, etc.?
So in 2022, we implemented SoftWave tissue regeneration technology, which has really blown my mind with how incredible it is. So the technology has been used in Europe for over a decade and is very successful. It's been used in the United States for just about 2 years now, been used by a lot of professional athletic teams. And we're really proud to own only the 624th machine in the United States. So we're a little on the front edge of it there. But it is a tissue regeneration. So it activates the body's natural healing response. We use it on everything from shoulder pain to knee pain, low back pain, hip pain, hands and wrists, and you name it. So what it's done for us is it's allowed us to help our patients in another way and to expand upon the results they'd already gotten. So if someone can't go exercise because their knees are always hurting them, now with the SoftWave, a lot of our patients are back to walking regularly, moving, exercising more, which then again spirals into them and how well they hold their adjustments, how well everything else in their health pans out. So it's allowed us to make an even greater impact than we were making before. And the results are just laughably fun.
So how is this done? Is it injection shots?
No injection. So it looks like an ultrasound head. So it's placed on the skin there's ultrasound gel, and the machine sends sound waves in through the soft tissue. So you hear a clicking sound, you feel a little bit like you're being flicked with a rubber band, and it takes just a few minutes to do. And I would say the statistics are between 67 and I think it's 85% of the people get improvement. I would say in our office, we're hitting about 80% of the people get up from the first treatment and feel better within about a minute or two from walking to the front door. So they get a tangible difference with even just one treatment. And then it's something that we do on a set of programs anywhere between maybe 4 and 10 times, depending upon the problem.
What type of feedback have you been getting from some of your patients?
They laugh, they cry. Most of them sit there with their jaws hanging open saying, "Are you even kidding me right now?" They're just stunned. And that was our response when we first tried it. So before I purchased the machine and brought it into my practice, of course, I wanted to test it. I vetted it through a lot of doctors that I knew and respected. And then my husband and I went and tested it out. And we both had that response as well, just like our patients did. My husband literally said to the doctor, "Are you even kidding me right now?" He was so impressed. So we knew then that was it. I was going to purchase it and bring it to my community.
What is it called again? Because neither one of my doctor's offices
we'll get you one. I'll find you one in Texas. Here you can have it done with me. So SoftWave, SoftWave, TRT.com, and you just put in your zip code and they'll find a doctor near you.
Wow. I'm looking forward to asking my doctors when I get back there about this. I'm sure they know about the technology. Probably sometimes a lot of doctors are slow to
It's new. It's still pretty new.
Mm-hmm. Why has the United States been so slow? You said there's only 632.
Well, there's more now. I was the 624th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why have the United States been so slow in embracing this technology?
I think the United States, from my understanding how it works, we have our own system of how we approve things. So even when technology and things get brought to us, we don't stand on the research that's already been done previously in other countries. We then start our own and move forwards from there. So I think that's sometimes where we don't embrace new things as quickly or as efficiently.
But this technology been over in Europe for a while.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Anyway, okay.
But we're here now. That's all that matters.
We're here. So can you tell our viewers and our listeners, I'm talking about someone that I can see you out there, I see you in TV land, they're thinking about, wow, how can I'm in Temecula or I'm in California. Dr. Tina, tell me how I can make an appointment with you so I can come in and check this technology out. Can you tell me?
I think the fastest way, you can check us out on the internet or on social media. We're Dr. Tina Chiropractic. So just drtinachiropractic.com. And we have some educational information on Facebook and Instagram and tons of information on our website. And my staff would love to chat with you and help you find if we are a good fit for us. And if not, we'd love to refer you to somewhere that may be.
You know, so people that have a knee problem, back problems, all type of stuff, and you work with them with the new technology, with the old technology, what are some of the things that they need to add to doing this? I'm talking about, first of all, pushing back on the table. Secondly, getting on the regimen where they are working out. A lot of people, I can't work out because my knees are hurting. Can you tell our viewers and listeners, and I know some of them out there, that there's certain things you can do regardless of what type of ailment that you might have that's going to bring benefit to the body? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me, it's first understanding with everything that you never give up and you never stop looking for solutions. And that's regardless of what you have. So I tell that to all of my patients. So a lot of times, for example, when people come to me with migraine headaches, they've been everywhere and done everything, and they'll tell me a list of the dozen doctors they've seen. But if you don't keep looking, you're never going to find the answer. And for so many people, we were the answer for them in eliminating migraine headaches from their lives. Same with knee pain. So if your knees are bothering you and you're not getting results with other types of care, if you're not feeling like you're able to exercise, you constantly look for another solution. So that might be hiring a different personal trainer, someone who's a kinesiologist with a background understanding the mechanics of the body, so that they can get you on a program that's working the areas that are able to use right now until you get to a point where you've healed enough that your knees are able to be part of the daily activities. But it's always looking for another way to stay in control of that so that you do what you can do for yourself.
Yeah. So, Dr. Tina, so can you tell our viewers what are some of the recommended food or spices or vitamins or nutrition that they can add to their diet that will help them out with reducing inflammation and headaches and etc. Because I believe that if we don't get enough nutrition, enough fatty acid, enough a lot of things, that it can cause us to have additional problems and worsen the ones that we have.
So food can definitely be a contributing factor, but sometimes it's not the whole piece of the puzzle. I always say sometimes health is a puzzle. You have to get all the pieces in line and lock them in together. So food is a big one. Again, we talked about sugar. I'd say sugar is very inflammatory, and removing that is really, really key when you want your body to heal and to function well. So if I have a patient who's been in a major accident, a major trauma, and they're asking what is every single thing that I can do to heal faster, I always tell them we really want to abort on sugar. We want to cut down other inflammatory foods that are things like gluten, that are things like dairy. And then we want to eat lots of antioxidants. Antioxidants are things like basil and cinnamon and things that you can add to your diet very easily that help your body heal faster. And so eating super clean and healthy is always a good idea. And I think our concept of that is a little bit jaded here in this country. I think you can always eat more fruits and vegetables, and then drink plenty of water. And then my favorite thing to add to your diet is to bridge the gap of what we do eat and what we should eat would be Juice Plus. I love that product.
What are your thoughts on some of the holistic medicines out there? Do you know what I'm talking about? Reiki and also when put the needles in your back.
The acupuncture, yeah.
Acupuncture and all that stuff. I know a lot of modern doctors are also getting educated on all of these other different type of things. Do you think that that's important to understand the crosses and all the different doctors, and especially when it comes to help relieving pain of the patient?
I think you always need to have an open mind. So I would never shoot anything down. I think any type of healthcare that helps your body heal, particularly from within, is going to be ideal. I tend to stay in my lane. I'm a very hyper focused on, I do one thing, now I do two things, and I try to do them at an expert level. And so if I'm not able to help a patient, I'm going to refer them out to someone who might add to that in benefit. But I always say you have to keep looking for what works for you, and never let anyone tell you don't try chiropractic or don't try acupuncture. They're successful professions for a reason, and it's because of the results they get. So we should always be trying to find the right answers.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. We always look for the right answers. That's going to help us out, but also all the advice that you've been giving us about eating right, resting. Is any certain way? I'm talking a lot of people I have heard. Oh, I slept this way and I woke up, I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a posture or how a person or a certain way or either pillows or something like that?
Yeah, we have a pillow that our patients rave about in our office. They think it's the greatest thing ever, and a lot of them like to have a backup one just in case. But I always recommend that you sleep on your side or your back, and you have to have a pillow that's sufficiently sized so that when you lay on your side, it's supporting your head and neck here, so that you lay nice and neutral, so you're not being bent down towards the bed or pushed away from it by a pillow that's too big. But not all pillows are created equal, and so if you ever want to know what the best pillow is, you can reach out to our office and we'll give you a recommendation of what we think is great. But people are also very, very resistant to wanting to purchase a new bed. And if your bed is more than 6 or 7 years old and you're not sleeping well, that's a really good place to start. It's an investment in 1/3 of your life. And again, your future self will thank you if you get a bed that suits you well.
I like how you used your future self, because as we age and as we mature, we are learning and developing our future selves.
That's right.
Yeah, as we go. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to continue this great discussion with Dr. Tina Gottlieb. And if you want to be part of this conversation, you still got time. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Fight again. And if you want my opinion, I let it take me away. Only relief is the 4 on the floor and the crowd that goes, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phrases and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
It's your life.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And again, my absolutely fantastic guest here, Dr. Tina Gottlieb. I call her Dr. Tina. I think that's what most people call you.
They are.
You know?
If I answer the phone, this is Dr. Gottlieb. They say, Tina, is that you?
So Tina, you are really educating our viewers and our listeners on a lot of things that we need to be aware of. Are you aware of any other technologies that's, I mean, I know you mentioned one a few minutes ago that's currently happening overseas that you're excited if when it comes to the United States? Have you did your research on any of that that you might be looking forward to?
I think the two things that I'm the biggest expert on that I always tell my patients is, and we have people asking for referrals all over the country, is if you have any joint issues, the SoftWave tissue regeneration technology, I would look up on the internet and find a referral near you. And then if you're looking for results with chiropractic and you think you've tried it all, I would search out upper cervical chiropractic in your area. It's just a slightly different version of chiropractic. It's what we utilize in our office. And I always tell people you can't just give up with one try. You gotta try different approaches to things. So those would be the two main things from my expertise. That, and then take your own self-assessment of your health and see where you're at and make one little change.
How do you go about doing a self-assessment?
So if you go to our website, we actually give you the self-assessment. You'll get a little video instruction from me and a printout that goes with it. When I did it for myself. And it was one of those moments where I was self-analyzing where I was at. And I gave myself in grades. And I didn't even just do it on health. I gave it in every aspect of life, of how I felt I gave to my patients, how I felt I gave to my practice, how I felt I gave to my child and to my husband and to my community. And I went through all of these things. And when I came to assessing myself, and when it got down to nutrition, I was like, that was fantastic. Sleep, I got a good grade. And when it got to exercise, I just had a silent moment. And I realized that was the one thing for me that came secondary to everyone else. I would bump my workout at the gym to see other patients who needed me. I would bump it to go be at my daughter's karate. I would bump it for many things. And that was an eye-opening moment. So sometimes you just sit and reflect on who you are and be really honest with yourself. And for me, it was a game changer because that was literally a line in the sand. And I said, well, from now on, it happens 7 days a week, period. And that I have to come first. And I really had to acknowledge that in order to be a great doctor and to be better, which is always my goal, I have to feel fantastic. So if I don't exercise, I'm not helping everyone to the best of my ability.
Oh, you're a great doctor.
Thank you.
But you do so many other things. In the communities, Rotary clubs and all of these things. Is that a sense of balance? Sometimes when you're at the Rotary, because we've been Rotary members together for quite some time now. And sometimes we have to have that balance where we're able to lead the office for an hour and a half, and mingle with other professionals that's in different fields and practices. How does that make you feel though when you're able to get out and mingle and with friends? We call them our friends.
Yes. And this is another thing that I feel very strongly in, is that you are the sum of the people that you surround yourself with. And I add to that, you should be really intentional about who you're surrounding yourself with. And so to me, I feel like when I go to Rotary, it's me giving back to my community in another way, which I think is my responsibility. But I also think it's important because I feel like it refills my cup. It surrounds me with people that motivate me and inspire me to want to be even better. And so sometimes it's very hard to get out of the office and to make a meeting. But once you're there, you're like, I am so glad I came. I feel refueled and refreshed. And you cannot go wrong being a Rotarian, where you have the honor of giving to your community and to the world by working with other like-minded people.
Wow. So Tina, have you authored any books, or do you have any in mind? Let's talk about that real quick.
It's funny you say that. So a year ago, I sat down with a colleague of mine, Namira Alaboy, and we started to write a book. Honestly, it's titled It's Not Self-Care. And we really sat down and we poured our hearts into this because we felt like we both had been finding that we both gave presentations that were very similar to each other, and that we said things in slightly different ways, but we were having the same conversations. And so we sat down and began to write it. And then about a month later, we decided to implement SoftWave in our practices. And so all of our attention kind of switched. And just recently she said to me, we haven't finished our book. We should really finish our book and get it out there so that we can help more people. So we are working and will continue to work on getting out the It's Not Self-Care.
So I think what you just told me is this year, that's one of the projects that you're going to do is complete that book.
I don't know if I'm going to complete it this year, but I promise to be further along. maybe in another year.
Oh, I was just trying to get the mindset like
It is.
Yeah.
One of my mindsets lately, though, is not to put too many things in one chunk. So I'm going to be a little more realistic with that.
No, it takes time. I just finished a few books that's coming out, 2 next month and 2 the following months.
That's incredible.
And so it does require the right mindset, the right time, the right focus. Otherwise, you can mess it up.
Yeah.
So what are some of the takeaways that you want our viewers and listeners to get from this great discussion that we had?
I want you to get, if you get one thing, it's this, is that you deserve to feel great. Not just to feel okay, not to feel like you're pushing yourself through your life, going through the motions. You deserve to feel downright fantastic so that you can make your impact on the world and focus on what matters most to you. And if you don't feel like that, please start looking for solutions. Feel free to shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help guide you in what might be some directions to look for. The assessment, certainly one way, having a great upper cervical chiropractor, eating well, sleeping well, try out that SoftWave, but you deserve it.
Wow. So how can I have to do this. How can our viewers and potential patients get in touch? I know you gave it up a few minutes ago, but we want to plug that in again and also to come and try that new technology.
Absolutely. So my website is Dr. Tina Chiropractic. That's just DRTINA chiropractic.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Tina Chiropractic as well. We have all the links on our website to SoftWave tissue regeneration technology. Their website's amazing. You just put in your zip code and they'll find a doctor near you who might be able to help you.
Well, Dr. Tina, I'm going to tell you again, you got an open invitation to my show anytime that you have time in your schedule.
When I finish my book.
Looking forward to having you back on. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Like I always tell everybody out there, you got to maintain the right focus. I want everybody to always dream big, think big. Most important, be big at everything that you do. I'd like to thank, again, Tina for coming. I'd like to thank my executive producer who put together great shows. That's Dr. Michelle Cooley. Most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the listeners and viewers, for taking the time to tune in to my show. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your life. We'll see you tomorrow.